Hello, listeners, and welcome to Season 2 of the Strength and Recovery podcast. Real people, real experiences, real hope. My name is Jaye Rodenbush, the Director of Alumni Engagement for Recovery Centers of America, and the host of Strength and Recovery. 2022 was an incredible year for the RCA Alumni team. Aside from launching this podcast, our team was able to host recovery meetings each and every day, offer an incredible calendar full of free events and activities for our alumni community, and save lives by helping people start their recovery journey in our treatment centers. We are proud of the road we were able to pave in 2022, and it only leaves us more excited for what we have coming up in this new year. In 2023, the Strength and Recovery podcast will feature interviews from more RCA staff, alumni, friends, and family, and others on their recovery journey who are interested in sharing their story with our listeners. Together, we'll laugh, we'll cry, we'll relate, and we'll gain new perspective. And ultimately, we will continue on this road together to ensure that 2023 is a year of health, happiness, and growth. The views and opinions expressed by the guests of this podcast are their own, and not necessarily those of RCA. These interviews are personal testimonies of recovery and should not be considered medical or treatment advice. To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in every month. It has been a pleasure putting this podcast together as a way to connect with our community. We can't wait to talk with more of you this year. If you or a loved one is struggling and needs support, please do not hesitate to call us at 1-833-RCA-ALUM. We are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Don't wait. And now, please enjoy the new season of Strength in Recovery podcast. Hello, listeners. Welcome to the Strength and Recovery podcast. I'm your host, Jaye Rodenbush, Director of Alumni Engagement for Recovery Centers of America. I am in Monroeville, Pennsylvania today at our facility here, sitting down with Deb Riccelli. And Deb was one of our alumni coordinators. She is now a treatment advocate for Recovery Centers of America. Why don't you tell us, what does a treatment advocate do?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me today, Jay. This is super exciting, working with you and alumni, now moving over to this new role. So tapping back into seeing you, it's exciting. So the question is, what is a treatment advocate? A treatment advocate helps and advocates for patients needing treatment. This role allows me to go into hospitals and different institutions to speak one-on-one with patients that need treatment. I'm able to break down barriers and share my recovery with them and encourage treatment. So that's exactly what I do.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about you? You just said share your recovery. So why don't you share with us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've been clean and sober since January 10th, 2012. I have 10 years clean and sober, coming up on 11 years this January. My husband and I both walk this journey together, and he's a little bit ahead of me, so the thing that we always make fun of is the fact that he was he got clean and sober in December, so his sobriety date is 2011, and mine, because it was after the first of the year, is 2012. So we always make fun of that, but we walk this journey together, and I have 3 sons. My oldest is 18, and my baby is 14. I guess he's not a baby anymore. Huh?
And the one in the middle?
And the one in the middle is just turning 16, and he's getting ready to get his driver's license. So, but I started this journey in January of 2010. Yes, 2010. I'm getting all confused. 2010, and it has been a journey. We have had to rebuild from being homeless to, straight from the bottom. And my pathway in recovery has been, a faith-based recovery. Although, working the steps in AA has really changed my life and has taught me how to live life on life's terms. The centerpiece of my recovery is, faith-based.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Talk to me a little bit about, I know we have a lot of couples who either want to come to treatment together or they realize our relationship is going nowhere, our family is not what it needs to be. Talk to me a little bit about a couple's journey in recovery.
A couple's journey, although you're going through it together, you have to recover separately. So it's, pulling apart the codependency. There's a lot of work that has to be done. You have to work your recovery intensely, I believe a little bit harder than just getting clean yourself. Sponsorship and having that support system around you to help your relationship, it's difficult. It could be very difficult. But having that support and,
talk to me a little bit about what, no, you don't be sorry. Talk to me a little bit about, you said you used the word codependence. What did that look like in your life?
Codependence looked like my husband and I, we didn't even have to communicate verbally. We were so codependent on one another that we were able to look at each other and know what the other one was thinking. So in our addiction, we would, we knew what we had to do to get what we had to get. There wasn't necessarily a communication. We just knew it. And that was codependency. It was a very sick, toxic relationship at that point in our marriage.
And how did you go from, you said homeless, right. You said codependent, you said not a great relationship, to now having this beautiful family that a lot of people would look at and say, man, that's goals, right? That's marriage goals. Mm-hmm. That's the life you have now. What do you think was one of the biggest factors of that?
I mean, I can't deny that, God has been so good to us and in our marriage. He is at the center of our marriage. He gets all the glory for where we're at today.
Mm. I love that.
I get emotional with that. I'm so grateful that we have our family still intact. My children are still with me. And
they know sober parents.
They know sober parents. Very grateful for that,
Do you remember any decisions you made in that beginning stage when you were looking to get help, looking to get treatment, looking to fix things? Were there any pivotal decisions?
I think at the very last episode of treatment for my husband and I, the very last one, there was some incidents that happened after coming out of treatment, which my pastor during that time had opened the church to us, and we were staying in the basement of the church with all three boys and my husband. And I remember, my family had completely allowed me to my own devices. We were completely alone at that point with the kids. Our family was intact, but I remember specifically being at the church and in the toddler room and, where all the kids would go for Bible study, and really hitting my knees and saying, I can't. You can, Lord, and just trying to get out of the way. But that was the very beginning of my journey. Was a complete and total surrender, literally on my knees. It was good.
Wow. And when did life start to make the turn?
There was a lot of cleanup. I had a lot of court cases, court costs, charges, a lot of things that we had to walk through. It wasn't pretty. It was a process. The thing that kept me going was what I didn't want to go back to. The way that I was living before was almost like a dog going back to his vomit. Where we're okay. Although I have all of these things to go through, what I was before and where I'm at right now is, kept me on that journey. I was happy to wake up and not be sick. I was happy to have the problems that I had, because prior to getting clean and sober, I couldn't even be a mother. I couldn't make lunch. I couldn't do anything without that drug.
And that sense of overwhelm, that had to be a shift. Just saying, I'm grateful for these issues. I want to deal with these. That sounds like a big shift in thinking.
Yeah, and I don't think that shift came from me. I really believe that my higher power had changed my wants and needs and my desires, and I believe that he removed that obsession that I had.
That's beautiful. And was the journey about the same time? Were you, for your husband? I know you said you had to recover separately. Can you talk a little bit more about what that meant?
That meant separate meetings that we went to. He went with his sponsor. I went with mine. We didn't do things together.
How pivotal is that?
I mean, although we still, to this day, take each other's inventory. You need to talk to your sponsor. We have those issues still arise today. But it was, I feel, the only way, because we had to pull each other. We had to pull that codependency. We had to, become individuals. When we were together, it was a huge, we could blame and victim, and it was a big ball of, codependency and a mess.
So when you came back together, you were now two
Separate.
healthy
Yes.
individuals, or
Yes.
healthier.
We're still, what do they say? Two sickies don't make a welly, but we're working on that.
When we were talking about whether you would do this podcast, you said, I like to talk about the solution. So I want to give you the opportunity to talk to the listeners about the solution. What does that mean?
The solution I found, first of all, my pastor, when I was receiving counsel, would say to me, it's not a 12-step program, it's a one-step program. And this is a God thing. And I took that literal, but I had to learn that there were steps that I had to take to get to my higher power. And I believe the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous got me, that bridged the gap from addiction to recovery. So I really believe the solution's in the book, and that's where I found my life, was in there.
How important was getting a sponsor?
Well, it was everything. To have a strong woman to teach me what it was like, how to be a lady, how to be a mother, how to say sorry, how to grow and be broken and still be okay. God put this woman in my life.
Say that again.
What was it? To be broken and still be okay?
Yeah, talk about that.
It's okay not to be okay. And I didn't know that was the case. I pretended most of the time that I was okay. She taught me that I could still struggle and still be okay. It didn't have to take me out. When you're an addict, you're very extreme one way or the other. And, perfectionism and all of these things, these defects come into play. And when it doesn't go your way, you have to be able to balance that out and continue your journey. Having a strong woman in my life really made it okay for me not to be okay and still continue on this path. So, she was instrumental in my growth. And
I know a lot of people come out of treatment and they're a little resistant to get a sponsor.
Yeah.
Or it's like, no, I haven't found one yet. What's your advice to people?
My journey's a little different. For the first year of my recovery, although I was going to meetings, I didn't have that. I had women in my life, but I didn't have the sponsorship. I had temporary sponsorship. My sponsor came in probably about a year after, when I was very, very uncomfortable.
But you had the temporary.
I had a temporary. I had to, but God really blessed me, during that time with great women, strong women around me, until He placed this woman in my life that I will forever, I think of her. We're no longer together. I've moved, and so we keep in contact like that. But it was instrumental in my growth, and very special to me.
And was she tough on you?
I'm very sensitive. So she had a way of being so kind and pushing at the same time. I don't know if there was anybody tougher on me than me,
Oh, yeah.
So I really struggled with, this isn't good enough and that's not good enough. Her role to me wasn't to be tough. Her role for me was to be a little bit softer with me, because I was so hard on myself.
You had that perfectionism.
Yeah.
The all or nothing thinking.
Yes, I did. Yes.
That's beautiful. Tell me about now. What's life like now?
They say beyond your wildest dreams. I say that all the time, and I think about that. I think about 15 years of, raising the boys, being home, and then, God opening the door for a career in recovery in this arena. When He opened the door, I started as, a tech at a local facility. And I saw the benefits of working with other addicts and alcoholics and how it fed my soul. So I really feel like, God has righted all my wrongs. And not only that, but has provided a career with my biggest hurdle, was my drug addiction. And He's really switched that as my number one blessing. And I am grateful that I work in recovery. I'm grateful that on a daily basis, the things that I pray for when I get in my car is, that the Lord goes before me, behind me, and beside me, and that He guides me to the people that need the help, where He could utilize me in my full potential into helping people achieve the things that He has so freely given me. So it's a blessing.
And talk to parents right now, maybe who are in recovery. They've got kids. They're trying to navigate. I've got teenagers. You've got teenagers. How do we go about having those hard conversations, talking about substance use? It's everywhere. Talking about the scary stuff, the fentanyl. What's your advice to parents?
I think I tap in and tap out. I really feel like the least amount that I give them at a time, good gems of knowledge of really what's happening in the real world. I use my career as how I teach. The things that I see is not my experience, but something that I'm walking through where I could share that with them, So honestly, as a parent, I pray on a daily basis because I truly don't know what I'm doing. I truly don't. And I know that, that God knows my heart and my desires for my boys and what I want for them. They're very well aware that addiction runs in our family. It's on both sides. They're very well aware that I work in this, that this is a ministry that I do. It's talked about on a daily basis in my household. So I really feel like they're aware and they see it.
And creating a space where kids can have open conversations and they can come to you.
Yes.
That's important.
It is important. And I think when I am vulnerable with them and say that sometimes, I don't know the right answer, the right direction. I think when I'm vulnerable with them, then it pulls us closer together where we can come together and make some decisions on next steps for them or, recognizing different things, being there with them on their level.
That's so important. I'm thinking about last year. It was Halloween. You were dressed up to be here at the facility.
Yeah.
And one of the boys will remain nameless. And you needed to go to the school, and you forgot you were in costume.
Jay, I can't even believe you remember that.
Do you remember that?
So funny. Yes.
And you walk into the boys' school to take care of business with full.
It was like that.
Witches.
Yes.
Regalia.
Yes. 100%. The littlest, the ornery one.
He is going to have a story in 20 years.
I came walking in there with my heels, my witch's heels. And I just came in there, gave him the look. And, here I am with my witch's outfit on. Oh, Jay, that's really funny. I forgot about that.
That was the best story.
Yes, we have to revisit that with the boys at home. That's funny. That's funny.
I think what I love about you, and I don't know your boys, but I hear these stories, and is your willingness to just be down to earth with them, and the ability that you've had to create a peaceful space. I know you work really hard to make family a priority.
Yeah. Every day, we have our dinners, and they never, for the last 10 years, they haven't had, they've had a peaceful home, and which allowed them to grow in different ways. And I'm blessed to be able to provide that for them.
Absolutely.
Gratitude is a way of living. It's, waking up and, my morning routine it's the 3 W's. It's the wake up, worship, and workout.
And Deb does not sleep.
I do.
She goes to bed really early, and she wakes up about 3:30 or 4 a.m. and starts texting.
I do. I work. That's when I get my best work.
3:30 a.m. texts.
Yes.
We tried to switch it to email.
Yes. A lot of work gets done, and that's where I get my head together in that morning meditation, that morning routine. It's priceless to me, so yeah.
Walk us through your routine. I know you said.
Yeah. My wake up, worship and workout. My morning routine is, of course, I have to, check my emails and all of that, and then get up and have my coffee, and there's some quiet time there. There's some reflecting from the day before and what I want to accomplish in my day that's ahead of me. with that being said, there's a humbleness in my posture, and welcoming the direction for my day. There's some readings that go on, and there's some plans and goals that are revisited during that time. The working out, just incorporated into my routine probably about 2 years ago, and it has done wonders for my mental status, my energy level, those types of things. So my mornings are, my morning to prepare for my day. I mean, working a full-time job and being a wife and a mother, you have to, have all of these different hats and be able to, take them off and put the other one on seamlessly. And it could be challenging at times. So that morning time for me grounds me and gets me ready for my day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you always been a real morning routine person? You always have? Or was that something, was that a gift of recovery?
You know what? I've always been like that, but I didn't utilize it in the way that I do right now. So it's always been with me. My dad's an early riser. There's been conversations that my dad and I have had at 3:30 in the morning. So I get it from him. I'm waiting to see which one of my boys get this. We'll see. I mean, they're teenage boys now, so they're sleeping. Yeah. We haven't recognized that yet.
And you don't want to wake them up.
We'll let them go.
Let them lie, right?
Yeah.
Debbie, thanks so much for being with us today. We always end with favorite recovery quote.
I could just give you my quote. God qualifies the called. So although you might think, I don't know if I could be, in a sponsorship role, and I don't know if I could give, another woman what was freely given to me. God will qualify you in those roles. So that's my quote, Mark Batterson.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Jaye.
Thank you for joining us today for the Strength and Recovery podcast. Real people, real experiences, real hope. This podcast is presented by the Alumni Association of Recovery Centers of America. If you're interested in learning more, visit rcaalumni.com. Here, you can fill out our web form to make sure you're receiving our daily recovery emails and are notified of special events. The Alumni Association of RCA exists to connect individuals to an active recovery community. It is our goal to work with alumni to help them succeed, belong, and ultimately serve others. We help our alumni succeed by hosting more than 120 recovery support meetings per month, with both virtual and in-person offerings of big book studies, speaker meetings, beginners meetings, Monday through Friday daily inspiration meetings, meetings for men and women, and faith-based meetings. Second, we create a welcoming community that provides a sense of belonging with a full calendar of events each month. Speaker series, barbecues, holiday celebrations, bowling, sporting events, theater shows, and much more. Thirdly, we provide an opportunity for our alumni to serve both the recovery community and in our local neighborhoods. We offer speaker commitments, chair commitments, mentoring opportunities in our facilities, volunteering at food banks, recovery, and overdose awareness events. We look forward to having you with us again soon. Recovery Centers of America provides inpatient and outpatient treatment and has locations in Massachusetts, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Indiana, and Illinois. Recovery Centers of America, or RCA, was founded to break down barriers to expert treatment. We answer the phone and admit patients 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, are in network with major insurance providers, and provide evidence-based treatment in our world-class facilities. If you or someone you know needs help, call 1-800-RECOVERY and know we are here for you.